Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Health Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and want to see more. Coming up, Saints receive finally their Challenge Cup fine. Leigh Centurions have an important announcement to make. Surprise as HKR star in line for semi-final. But first, a potential deal between Canberra Raiders and another club for one of their stars. So there's a little bit of speculation coming out of the Canberra Raiders, according to the Courier Mail in Australia, as there is reportedly a swap deal on for one of their leaders, with a player going the other way, and that player is Josh Hodgson, as he seems to be interesting West Gold Coast Titans for the 2022-23 seasons. Hodgson has one more year on his contract, with the Raiders looking likely not to retain the Englishman past that date, whilst the Titans are desperately for a new number 9. And the player that seems to be the main weight in this whole discussion is Titans halfback Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty is sought after of sorts, as they can see him being their halfback combination man going forward at the Raiders. But of course, wages could be a stumbling block, as Fogarty is believed to be on around about $500,000 less than Hodgson. But the desire to get things over the line could make this deal happen. Hodgson has had a less than successful 2021 after injuries, and a run of bad form kept the Raiders hooker below his own expectations, as Canberra floundered at the business end of the season. Well, it wasn't just that, he floundered because of bad form throughout the season. They're saying too many people were getting their heads turned at the club, bit too much big time Charlies, and couldn't hold a lead after half time if they were their own children and they were holding them up over lava. It's been a bad season. George Williams left them, and they sort of got some form back with the halfbacks that they had through Sam Williams and Origin star who his name escapes me at this point. Jack Whiten. Google is your friend. I apologise for getting that undone, but yes, it is paper speculation for this deal to go ahead. But what do you think? Could this swap be plus for both sides? Let me know in the comments, because Hodgson has been the mainstay of the Canberra Raiders for the past few years. Yes, this year with Starling coming to the fore. Plus, don't forget that Jared Croker through injury for most of the season, and that's a lot of points lost. So tonight is the first game of HKR's match against Catalan Dragons down in Perpignan, and there has been one or two surprises been put in the HKR's 21-man squad for the trip to Catalan, as Tony Smith has admitted, although adding Ryan Hall to the to the 21-man squad, he may not play in the Rovers semi-final playoff against Catalan. Hall suffered a torn deltoid in Catalan's win over Castleford Tigers earlier this month, but Smith, despite originally saying Hall will be out for the rest of the season, has brought back the experienced winger into the fold. The former Leeds winger has been one of the most potent attacking threats in Super League this year, scoring 15 tries and averaging 136 metres per game. Smith, however, knows that it would be a serious risk to include him, as well as a few others. We'll be running an eye over Corbin Sims, George Lawler, Albert Vete, Hall and Ethan Ryan, Smith said. Hall is fit in terms of fitness, but in terms of his arm, he's got a tear in his bicep. They tell me, the medical room that is, he can't do any more damage to it, but it's just whether he can function with it or not. We may risk it, but we will be alright if he's not in, as we saw last week. Vete has had a tight calf for a couple of weeks, so it just depends on how well he functions. And George Lawler has only just got his own arm out of a pot last week. It's pain management for him, but when you've been in a pot for a while, it seizes up. Corbin Sims has had an Achilles injury issue, which he has had for about last few weeks. Then we've got to see how he functions tomorrow. Say that one again. 2. Albert Vete has had a tight calf for the last couple of weeks, so it just depends on how well he is functioning. And George Lawler has only just got his arm out of a pot last week. Speaking of past the cast, it's pain management for him, because when you've been in a pot for a while, it seizes up. Corbin Sims has had an Achilles issue, which he's had for the last few weeks, and then we've got to see how he functions tomorrow. As everyone knows, Ryan Hall is a potent strike player for any team that he's played for. Well, I say that, there was a period with the Roosters where unfortunately he weren't able to score any points in his 11 games, but in his Super League era, Leeds he's played 327 games and scored 232 tries. With Hull Kingston Rovers, he's played 20 games and scored 15 tries. He's also played 38 England games, full international, and 2 for Great Britain, as well as 4 England Nines games, scoring 36 tries in his representative years. So, that sort of point scoring, and if he's 100% fit, but even if he's 90% fit and able to play on, there would be nothing but pluses for HKR to add that to their already revved up attack after their win against Warrington. So, Super League 2-time grand finalists and grand final winners, and going for a third this year, have been fined £5,000, of which £1,000 is suspended until the end of the season for breaches of the Rugby Football League's COVID protocols. The punishment follows the reigning Super League champions' decision to postpone 2 of their Betfred Super League fixtures in July. The RFL says the fine is at the low level to reflect their cooperation with its investigation and the unique circumstances following their victory in the Betfred Challenge Cup final at Wembley this year. The governing body says it also took into account that factors that both fixtures were home games, meaning the St. Helens have already suffered a financial penalty through the loss of ticket sales and commercial revenue. St. Helens are the 4th Super League club to be fined for COVID breaches, after Castleford were fined £35,000, 15 of which suspended for 2 years for failing to fulfil a match with St. Helens on June the 30th, and for breaching COVID protocols on the return coach from the Challenge Cup final. A subsequent COVID-19 outbreak at the club led to the postponement of an additional league game against Catalan Dragons and also another against Leigh Centurions. Huddersfield was handed a £30,000 fine, £15,000 again suspended for 2 years also, for failing to fulfil a league match with Castleford in July, and Salford were fined £25,000, half of which suspended for 1 year, following postponements of matches against Wakefield and Hull respectively. Now, I don't know why it's so low. They were also on their coach messing about after they won. So Castleford got a £35,000 fine and postponed 2 games. Got £35,000, 15 of which suspended for 2 years. St. Helens got 5,000, with 1 suspended until the end of the season. And they was postponed 2 games as well. Yes, ticket and commercial revenue would have been down because of it. So what did Castleford? Shouldn't it just be parity between them? Or is it based on their income that this was going? If so, why didn't Castleford get a lower one? Because I'm sure, with all due respect to Castleford, that the income from games for Castleford versus St. Helens would be a lot less. It's disparaging. It should be a set of rules for all, not for cooperation. Yes, the Castleford one was done straight away, but St. Helens, we'd have to wait until nearer the end of the season before it was conducted. That's the wrong thing about it. Greater parity is needed. So there's been an interesting move from Leigh Centurions, as Chris Chester has returned to Rugby League with Leigh Centurions, but not as their head coach. Chester, who has recently been sacked by Wakefield after 5 years in charge at the Super League club, has instead agreed a 2-year role as their head of rugby and is tasked with recruitment, salary cap, and providing a sounding board for their next coach. Chester will be involved in that appointment, and he said, "This is a role that really excites me. Leigh Centurions is a big club, and with the restructure plans for the game of Rugby League, there are exciting times ahead for this club. I have a good relationship with the owner, Derek Beaumont, head operations Neil Dukes, and the chairman, Mike Latham, and I can't wait to get started. Since leaving Wakefield, I've had time to reflect and recharge my batteries, and this role gives me the opportunity to build something really strong. I will get the right people involved, as players and staff, to ensure the club fulfills its great potential. There are still plenty of players available, both here and overseas, and we have the opportunity to make quality additions to the group of players that are already contracted with us for next year." Also commenting on his new charge, Leigh owner Derek Beaumont said, "I'm delighted to bring Chris to our club. He's a fantastic bloke who is vastly experienced in the game, from playing to coaching both at HKR and over a prolonged period in a tough seat at Wakefield, where he has not had the luxury of the budgets afforded to other coaches in the game. His knowledge of players at all levels and dealing with agents will be significant in what he can bring to the club." Beaumont continued, "Chris will also focus on building on the college team and the strong relationships we have with them to work with the RFL towards being able to ultimately establish a Category A academy that can be proud of representing our club and the legendary Tommy Sale. Chris has a great work ethic, which will be needed. He knows me well and he knows my ambitions for the club, and he's keen and excited to achieve those goals with me, which is why he has taken this position outside of the coaching opportunities he has been already offered." To be honest, when I first saw this, I thought it was Leigh announcing the head coach, as Chris Chester is a good coach under the right circumstances. He will have a bigger budget than what he had at Wakefield. I I think, I may be wrong in that, but he'll be in a league lower, so he may not need to spend as much on the players to get back into the Super League. Don't know if they're going semi-pro or keeping themselves professional in the Championship. If they stay professional, they've got more than a chance of coming straight back up, but I do feel it's a step sideways rather than forward for Chris Chester. He may miss the day-to-day in coaching and improving the side. And if his coaching as appointee comes in, they may not look at him as saying, oh, he could take over and be the coach. They might just get rid of him altogether with what they did with the previous regime. A tough one. Wish him luck. Will he get what he needs to get back up in the Super League? Don't know. Another big job on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, and share this video worldwide, as I need your help to grow our game. I can only do so much. Please, like, subscribe, and share the video. In the meantime, I'll just say all the best. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.